Listen, I know YouTube is really big for clickbait titles and thumbnails, but I'm being 1,000,000% honest with this title. Like, Joel Embiid's career is seriously over. Like, Shams put out a report yesterday. Well, it's yesterday for me. By the time this video is posted, it probably won't be yesterday, but Shams put out a report yesterday that Joel Embiid is medically unable to play, and he's out for the rest of the season. Now, a couple days before, Embiid got ruled out indefinitely, and they were saying that they were gonna, look at his knee, see what was going on, discuss treatment, things like that. But things coming out from the Philly beat reporters, like it's concerning, man. Like not even basketball wise. Like, I'm genuinely concerned for Joel Embiid the person. They were saying that this is, like, I was extremely frustrated with our front office in the offseason because literally the day before the season, I think I talked about this in my last video, the day before the season started, they ruled Joel Embiid out. And it wasn't for just that game, it was for an entire week. And so the entire fan base, rightfully so, they were pissed. Like, it's the day before the season opener. Like, why would you wait this long? And so I was pissed at the front office because I'm like, he's not healthy. Like, why would you do this? But hearing all these reports now, like, obviously the front office still holds some blame for just how they released the information and just how they've gone about this entire season. But, like, I can't place that much blame on the front office anymore. Like, they were like, the reports from the Philly beat reporters are, this is, well, not a typical injury, but, like, this should have been a typical, normal, stereotypical recovery. He should have been able to play, ramp up, and as he played and grew confidence, his knee would gain stability. But for some reason, with Joel Embiid, that just never happened. And so, not only is he physically deteriorating, he's talked, I'm pretty sure it was last season in the playoffs, but this season again too, that, like, this injury has just been insanely tough to deal with mentally. And so I know in my last video I was kind of dumping on Embiid, but I was just emotional, and we had lost like 7, 8 straight, however many it was. But I just feel bad for him, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I still do want to trade him. Like, I love the guy to death, but I'm a Sixers fan at the end of the day. Like, I just don't want this franchise to pay him for 4 more seasons, knowing damn well this is it, man. Like, this is it. But I just feel bad for Joel Embiid the person. Like, year after year, I know he gets criticized about, sitting out for injuries and being so soft because people think he's a flop or whatever. Like, he is genuinely one of the toughest humans I've ever encountered. Like, I know I've never physically been, in the same room as him, but, like, he's one of the toughest humans I've ever encountered. Like, year after year, I mean, it's ligament tear after broken face, after broken nose, after rib injury, after shoulder injury, after broken finger. Like, year after year, the guy can't catch a break. And contrary to what other people say, obviously it's been 8, 9 years. He's injury prone, but he's not as injury prone as people make him out to be. Like, some of these injuries are freak accidents. Like, and Brian Windhorst said this on ESPN First Take, I believe, and it brought a smile to my face because everybody tries to make it seem like Joel Embiid just he rolls out of bed and gets hurt. Like, these are freak accidents, man. Like, the knee last year when he tore his meniscus, MCL, forget whatever one it was from Jonathan Kuminga diving on his knee. Like, how is he supposed to prevent that? Like, you can't prevent that. No amount of dieting, no amount of conditioning, like, no amount of dieting or conditioning can stop that. It's not possible. His broken orbital against the Raptors a few years ago, Pascal Siakam just elbowed him in his face. Like, how is he supposed to stop that? What can he do? When he broke his face the first time, I'm pretty sure he bent over to pick up a loose ball, and Markelle Fultz shoulders him in the face and breaks his nose. How can he prevent that? I'm not sure that he broke his finger, but he at least like dislocated it or something. Maybe 3-4 years ago, he went up for a rebound, came down, and his finger got caught in Steven Adams' jersey, and he missed like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, obviously, he's had like 50 injuries in his career. Obviously, he's injury prone, but like these things that I just listed, man, like these aren't lies, these aren't excuses. Like, these are genuine cop outs, man. Like, how can he prevent those? Like, it's just, honestly, it's just, I feel terrible for him. I feel awful for him. Year after year, the guy destroys. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, take a second to understand the gravity of what I'm saying. Like, these are not just words. Listen to what I'm saying. He goes out there every year and destroys his body. Puts it all on the line for the city of Philadelphia. And this media criticism, what you see on Twitter, what you see on Instagram, what you see on TV, on First Take, on, what's that other show? First Things First. He doesn't deserve this, man. He doesn't deserve the type of criticism he gets from the media. Now, his playoff struggles, everything else, that's completely valid. Like, there's no excusing that. But his injuries, man, like, these are freak accidents. This is disheartening. Like, I feel horrible for Joel Embiid, the person. Like, I know I keep saying it, but it's just hard to describe how bad I feel for him, man. And then you just have to think, like, in the offseason, he lobbied for Paul George. Like, he got on live TV, looked him in his eyes when he said that he wants a new running mate. Like, he begged for Paul George. And then he gets here, Paul George is struggling, Embiid can't stay on the floor. When he is on the floor, he looks like a shell of himself. The season is a train wreck. I just feel terrible for him. Like, no, and a part of the report that Shams put out was that I'm not sure if it's every game, but he has to receive knee injections just to play in these games, just to reduce the swelling enough to be able to play with discomfort. Like, he's not playing fully healthy. He's playing through pain and discomfort. He has to take injections just to play every night. Like, I feel terrible for him, man. He hears the outside noise. He sees what a disaster this season is. And he just tries his best to put on a mask, act like nothing's bothering him, and just go out there and play. Even if it is 25% of what he should be able to give, he just goes out there and tries, man. I just feel terrible for him. Like I said, I'm a Sixers fan. I want this to be the end of the Embiid era because it's only downhill from here. I appreciate everything he did for the city, but it's just not smart for the team to keep this investment at this point. He's owed $250 million over the next 4 years. There is no world where you can pay him the rest of this contract. There's no way. You have to get off this contract somehow, some way. I feel terrible for him. I do. But you can't keep this contract on the books. I said this 4 years ago when the Sixers lost to the Hawks. It's time to blow this up. Where the Sixers are at this very moment today, 20-39, this was always going to be the end of the Embiid era. This was always going to be what it looked like. Of course, nobody expected it to be this early and to be brought on by injuries and, wasted cap space and everything else, but this was always where it was going to be. From 2021 until today, this was always going to be what the end of the Embiid era looked like. Like, just think about it, man. You couldn't beat the Hawks. You couldn't beat the Atlanta Hawks to go to the conference finals. If you couldn't beat the Atlanta Hawks, who were you ever going to beat to get to the conference finals? Who was it going to be? It's just pointless. It's just pointless anymore. Joel Embiid remaining on the 76ers is pointless. The only point to any of this anymore is for Joel Embiid to fulfill his fantasy of being a Kobe Bryant type player. that stays with the same franchise forever. Because at this point, man, it's organizational malpractice, and it's clear that we cannot win with Joel Embiid. I don't know who to compare it to, but it's just time. It's the Eagles, and it's Andy Reid. Andy Reid, at the very worst, is the second greatest coach of all time. The Eagles have been at least one of the 5 best franchises in football for the last 31 years. And Andy Reid got fired. After 14 seasons, Andy Reid got fired. Did the Eagles think he was a bad coach? No. Did Andy Reid hate the Eagles organization? No. It was just time to part ways, man. It was 14 seasons. Andy went to 5 NFC championships, only won 1. Went to a Super Bowl, didn't win it. He had a great run, had a hell of a run. But after 14 seasons of no winning, it was just time to go their separate ways. And that's just the point that the Sixers and Embiid are at. It's been season-ending injury after season-ending injury. It's been playoff exit after playoff exit. There is no way forward with this marriage. The Sixers and Embiid's relationship is over. Joel Embiid's career is over. These injuries have taken any talent that was left. These injuries have taken any will to play that was left. Joel Embiid is a broken basketball player. And as much as I hate to say it, in a couple of years, Joel Embiid is going to be a broken man. He's going to be walking on crutches. He's going to be in a wheelchair after he's done playing basketball. Joel Embiid's career is over. His best days are behind us. He was already injured every single season, and he was putting up 35 and 10. Now he's injured every season. He went out there this season. He averaged 23 points. The injuries have cooked his body beyond belief. Joel Embiid, I love you to death. This gets misconstrued in the media a lot because Philly fans talk about how much Embiid has done for the city. Yeah, he's never won a championship. He's never got us past the second round. Outside of that one finals run in 2001, it's been nothing but futility for the Sixers. I mean, they had Charles Barkley. They never did anything with him. Between the Sixers championship in 1983 and now, that finals run in 2001, that was the only bright spot of the Sixers. Joel Embiid revitalized the organization. He revitalized the team. He gave Sixers fans hope for the first time in 20 years that we would be able to do something. Joel Embiid, I love you. You did so much for this city. You did so much for this city. But it's over, man. It's time to hang it up. It's hard. It's hard to watch you go out there every night and just look like a shell of yourself. When he's healthy, Joel Embiid looks like one of the 5 best players to ever touch a basketball. One of the most skilled scorers of all time. One of the best defenders of all time. But he just looks like a shell of himself now, man. I love you, Embiid, but it's over. It's time to hang it up.